Welcome to Tony Unleashed, the podcast where we unleash the truth about all things pets.
Our research and anecdotal evidence matched with pet expert interviews will help you help your pet thrive.
We are here to answer questions, divulge information, and spread awareness about what's really going on in the world of pets.
I am your co-host, Emily Taylor, pet nutrition enthusiast and Healthy Pet Products employee for the past 6 years.
And I'm Tony Shalasky, owner of Healthy Pet Products with 3 locations in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and recently expanded to Port Charlotte, Florida.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Tony Unleashed, the podcast, where we dive deep into the world of dogs. Everything from food, behavior, training, all kinds of fun stuff. We talk about it. Health issues. Today, I am very excited to welcome in the house, Vinny Soma from Say It Once Dog Training. Welcome, Vinny.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I know, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We are both Western Pennsylvania, born and bred. Tell me how you got started into dog training and then a business.
Yeah. Do you want the long or do you want the quick story? So that's always the question. I had an interesting entry into dog training. It wasn't what you would think. I was 18. I moved out to Chicago. I was telling you about earlier, but I moved out there to play hockey. And I thought that's what my life path was going to be. My brother played professional hockey. So
get out of here.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I want to try this, I got a couple of concussions back to back that screwed me up for a while. It actually set me back about 1.5 years. And in that time, I found dogs to be, something that would help me a lot. I had a Newfoundland at the time, Gunner, who's a great dog. Oh. And my parents agreed to let me get my own puppy. So I got a Mastiff named Trigger. But one of the stipulations on getting this puppy was that I had to learn about dog training and dog raising. My uncle, who's out in Columbus, who I'll see this weekend, was a dog trainer. So this is where I got my first taste of dog training.
Okay.
And it's funny because that's 13 years ago, 12 and a half years ago from now. And that's how I got into dog training at the initial stage, not expecting to shut one door and open up that door of dog training. And, for the next 2-3 years, there was a lot of a school of hard knocks. Yeah. It wasn't the easiest thing. Trying to read books, go to different seminars, learn from different people. From there, that door just came wide open, and that was it.
So you went to many different types of trainers?
Oh my God. I still do. Earlier this year, I was in a room of 15 of the world's greatest dog trainers sitting here going, oh my God.
Really?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was Dr. Stuart Hilliard out in Los Angeles. A couple, Forrest Mickey, Michael Ellis, my buddy Brent Labrada put the seminar on, so I was lucky enough to join. But it was a lot of fun. Still learning, still just student of the art.
So I'm embarrassed to say I don't know those names because that's not my world.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you keep learning?
Every year. Yeah, every day trying to do something different. And so that's the thing about dog training. It is more of an art than people give it credit for. Mm-hmm. And you don't feel that art or see that art in a book. And you don't feel that art in a YouTube video either. As much as I continue to learn, there's so much feeling that should be into dog training that is not. Mm-hmm. There's an energy that should be a part of dog training that's not. And yes, I'm constantly learning something new. And I'm smart enough to know that I'm dumb. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing about dog training is there's so much out there that if you think you're a master at it, you are so far from it.
Right. So do you feel like because you went to many different types of dog trainers that you kind of meshed different techniques into your own?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, my father gave me a piece of advice a long time ago, steal with your eyes. So steal as much as you possibly can with your eyes everywhere you go.
Huh.
I try to take everything that I can from somebody, but the question is it going to fit into my program?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I learn that I go, oh, that's neat, but I don't think I'll ever do that, but I want to have it just in case.
Yeah.
The more things I have in my toolbox, there may be one dog that this may work with in the future. So I try not to hamstring myself to any certain ideology or any certain, which, I mean, you've been around dogs long enough to know it's like politics. There's one side or the other. And that ends up being a problem because there is going to be a certain dog. I'm going to need to use something that's out of my typical dog training range. So yeah, I try to steal as much as I possibly can.
I love that. Steal with your eyes.
Yeah. Steal with your eyes.
That's just like pay attention and watch and learn.
There's not
That's
one
genius.
Yeah, there's not one dog trainer I can't learn something from. Whether it's a different way to explain it, a way that I would never want to explain it.
Yeah.
But there's too much of this non-sharing of ideas between dog trainers. It is a problem. It's a big time problem. So hopefully we can address it.
Huh. So trainers don't exchange information?
No,
they think it's their way and the only way kind of attitude?
That 100%.
Really?
I've hired trainers that came from different programs that weren't allowed to watch videos of other trainers if it wasn't theirs.
Wow.
Right. And I find can you
talk about
just tunnel vision to the max. That's a problem though.
Yeah.
And then there's the other thing of I hate to use politics, but especially right now, it's a great analogy. This whole don't go across the aisle sort of thing of, because there are two main types of dog training. I'm assuming that everybody knows, but if not, there's two main types of dog training out there. There's what we would call balanced dog training, and then what we would call purely positive dog training or force-free dog training, depending on how you label that. And I think they can both learn a lot from each other. And there's ignorance behind the fact of I'm always right. That's a tough one to look at because I've been wrong so many times in my life the second I thought I was right. So there's a lot that people can learn from different styles of dog training.
And every dog's different. So it's just like teaching a kid. There's different ways that I feel like you get through to a kid. Different teaching techniques that gets through to different kids, right?
Yeah. And not only that, remember every teacher's different. So every teacher has a different style that would work better for them in their personal, their teaching style. So I would lead into my strengths as the teacher, not just as the student, but as the teacher too. Every trainer has a different strength, and I would try to find what that is.
Do you want to elaborate on balanced?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me more about balance, and then we'll talk about the positive.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a balanced training, I don't know how much we're going to get into the whole learning theory, but when we look at what's called operant conditioning and we look at the 4 quadrants within operant conditioning, a lot of times people find negative reinforcement or positive punishment as a bad thing, as something that is, you shouldn't do that because it has a negative effect on the dog or the learner, whoever, child, whoever it ends up being. And, that's just where I would disagree with somebody that trains without adding in the word no or aversives into the dog's life, or at least saying that they don't intentionally add these in because they're everywhere in life. It's impossible to avoid these things. You talked earlier today about a dog that got hit by a car, which happens frequently. That is a very big aversive that was added to the dog's life. At one point, my biggest fear is that, dog runs away, dog does get hit by a car, dog has something bad happen to it where I could have set that dog up differently in life and possibly had a different outcome. But that happens every day. I mean, every freaking day. But to go back to the balanced and purely positive, I believe that no is one of the most important words that a dog has to learn in his life. But no does not get learned without consequences. Just the same way that yes does not get learned without consequences. If I say yes all the time and I don't provide any value behind it, the word yes means nothing. It may mean something to you and I, but to the dog, it means nothing. And the same with no, right? We live in a world where it's 1, 2, 3. It's dogs, you can't give them that many chances, that many seconds around an actual trigger that could be, threatening. So I'm not afraid to use no, but a lot of times we get blasted because of certain tools that we use, right? I'm very open about the tools that I use with dogs. I think there's a right way to use tools, and I think there's a wrong way to use tools. And that's a whole nother world and a can of worms. But I believe if you can condition a tool properly, like a prong collar, they look awful, right? You look at it and you go, oh my God, I would never put that on my dog. And then you watch dogs react to a prong collar of oh, please put that on me so we can go for our walk, right? Or you put a prong collar on and you give the lightest bit of pressure and go, oh, I'll come this way, right? But not in a terms of this broken down spirit type of a
Correct.
dog. And
Yeah.
just, that's how I initially began dogs. Like I got into the work through heavy correction.
Oh,
and
for
heavy,
real?
Oh yeah. We're talking 12 years ago. And you watch those dogs, they listened,
Yeah.
but man, they didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I that's hard to say of like, dude,
Yeah.
I can watch videos of myself from 11 years ago and go, oof, God, but I won't take them down. I think it's necessary for me and other people to watch of like, oh, look how far you've grown in your dog training career. You can still use tools, but you have dogs that are committed and passionate about training, not dogs that are just compliant and shut down.
So how did you feel about it when you were 11 years ago doing that technique?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think you notice until you know better, right? Like you have no idea until someone else shows you or tells you, or you just happen to see and come across, there is probably a better way to get this across to the animal, to the dog.
Yeah.
But you never know that until you see other people, right? We're creatures of ignorance. You only know what you know.
Sure. So it gradually happened over time, do you think, or was there a light bulb moment?
No, I would say it was definitely gradual.
Yeah.
And it continues, my training continues to change every year, one way or another, whether that means like, it's not uncommon for me every day to use a prong collar and a clicker in a training lesson. And some people go, well, why would you use, so on and so forth. I think every dog training tool has has a time to be applied. It's just finding the right tool for that moment. But go back to that thing that we talked about earlier. A lot of times it's not always dependent upon the dog. Sometimes it's dependent upon the person that's holding the leash of that dog.
Yeah.
So, if I'm working with somebody who's 70 years old, I have to take that into account. When I'm training their dog I could teach the dog to do anything on a flat collar. I'm convinced that I could use a flat collar, take a dog with me for 4 weeks, and produce a really well-trained dog. But I'm not the dog owner, right? And this brings us into a completely different line, but I'll let you ask questions so I don't ramble on here.
This is really a can of worms.
Yeah, which is a good can of worms, and I'm here for it.
I watched a couple of your videos, and I was so excited to see you with the yes, because that's something that I've always used yes, and associating that with food and communicating with your dog that it's the right thing, right? So I recently went to a trainer, and I'm not saying they're wrong or anything like that, but two different trainers that their word was good, but my brain was like, but I want to say yes. So I'm back to saying yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hardwired in me, I feel like. Yes.
This is a great point. I think there's two big misconceptions, right? Like one is that you have to use certain words. Like, a lot of trainers, like I use a release word for my dogs, and I could tell every human I train, this is the release word you have to use. But the dog doesn't care, right? So it's like, just pick whatever word you want, condition it whatever way you want.
Right.
It could be yes, it could be good, but it could be pickle.
Sure.
Right? Like what is the difference to the dog?
The dog has no idea.
No idea at all.
Just like potty, you can use whatever word you want.
Bingo. Yeah, bingo. The word yes, though, it's much easier to say with a higher pitch, and it's a little bit more exciting to the dog.
Exactly.
Now, this is where you would get pushback on, well, it shouldn't matter the inflection that you put in because the dopamine hit doesn't come from the inflection of the voice. It comes with the association of whatever we're doing, right? So if I click and feed, it's that the clicker's been conditioned to the food, not the pitch of the clicker that makes me excited. Now, I hear trainers try it both ways and do it both ways and explain, be devil's advocate on each one. I don't think it, at the end of the day, will matter much if you condition it the right way. It is what it is, whether it's a clicker, good, yes, so on and so forth. But I agree with you. It feels better to say yes in a high-pitched voice than it does good.
Yeah.
It's a little, it's a little off-putting.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good, right?
It does.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my take on it.
So how long was your business? How long were you just casually training, and then you actually started a business?
Yeah, my first year in dog training. So this will be the 12th year anniversary coming up in November. So my first year of dog training, I made $12,800, right? And I was stoked, right? I was so happy, And my second year of dog training, I made $25,000.
Oh.
Yeah, big jump.
You
And
doubled.
My third year, I made $48,000. That's the year I looked at my dad and I said, I don't think I have to do anything else. I just have to get better at this, right? Like, this is what I can do for the rest of my life. And I was, honest to God, happy making that amount of money training dogs. Like, dude, this is it. This is like, I'm set. I'm done. I'm happy with my day to day. I have to constantly remind myself of that, because as life goes on, we all understand, like, oh, I need more. I need more. I dreamt about this position right now 12 years ago. And here I am complaining. You know what I mean? What an asshole I am.
Right.
My third year in dog training was the year I said, I can do this. Like, this, I just have to get better at this. And I had a really hard time. Like, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, you got to get your shit together. Like, you got to do everything right. You got to start treating this like this is going to be the rest of your life. Because for 2 years, I'm training dogs, but I'm doing all this other stuff. And, you know, I had to get my act together and learn my craft.
And how many years in did you start hiring other trainers?
That third year. So the third year, I hired a dog walker, Jenna Lee, who's still with me.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's been with me for 9 years.
Wow.
She was my first hire, and then that year we also hired another dog walker who turned into a trainer and another trainer.
Wow.
Yeah, axe to the grindstone.
That's great. Mm-hmm. So there's a total of 3, or there's more now?
Oh no, there's so we're in 4 different cities. So we're in Pittsburgh, we're in Washington D.C., Cincinnati, and Nashville, and there's 17 of us in the company right now. So
do you travel to?
I do. Yeah, once a quarter I go to the other locations. We meet every Friday, but once a quarter I go to the other locations, and it's cool to see how differently people behave based off of where they're at, right? Like, so training dogs in DC is slightly different than training dogs here, because the people there are slightly different.
Yeah.
Not for better or worse. It's just it's a completely different town.
And is it more of an urban? You're in more of an urban environment, so that's a different.
Heck yeah.
Traffic, sidewalks, crossing.
Yeah, and there's distractions everywhere. So dogs, especially puppies that are, well-bred, well-socialized puppies, are super easy to socialize there, right? And it's a nightmare for a dog that's a nervous dog, right? Like a nervous, insecure dog in a city with trains and buses and bicycles every second. That's a tough situation for a dog to live in. But you know what the weird thing is? So I told you this is going to go all over the place, but here we are. In a neighborhood setting, you deal with a lot of loading. And what I mean by that is everybody can imagine their dog on a walk in the neighborhood, and you see another person walking their dog towards you, 6 houses, 7 houses away. Their dog's breathing starts to change. Their dog starts to stand up a little bit. Their head perks up. The forehead comes together. And the dog, that's what we call loading. The dog starts to load on this dog of like, oh, there's a target that's walking directly towards me. You also have to think about how unnatural that is in the dog world, that another dog would walk straight at me. But in a neighborhood setting, you see a lot of that. So you see a lot of reactivity because of that, right? But in the city, you don't see as much loading in term, because there's so much going on. I don't get the chance to fixate on that one specific dog from 6 blocks away.
Right.
It's a lot different. It's hectic, but it's a lot different.
Is that why trainers are not huge fans of walking your dog in your neighborhood?
This is going to be great, dude. What time is it? We'll be here till 5 p.m., right? So that's another thing, is a lot of people have a hard time walking their dog in the neighborhood. This is what a lot of people struggle with, right? You got to remember, environment dictates behavior. And that is one of the most important things in dog training for a dog owner to hear, is that the environment will dictate everything. So when you take your dog out to a different location to train, everyone goes, oh, they're great in the building, because that building is completely different from their reality, right? And they don't generalize all that well. So if you train at a facility and then come back home, the dog's like, what the fuck? What am I doing here now? Right? It's completely different.
Yeah.
But a lot of dogs struggle in their neighborhood, because what do they do all day? They sit on a couch, they stare out a window, they bark at dogs that walk by, which is a self-reinforcing behavior, right? Every dog that I bark at that continues to walk down, my dog who's barking thinks, what? Oh, I made that dog keep walking by because I was barking. That's how strong of a dog that I am, right? When a dog barks at the mailman and the mailman turns and walks away, the dog goes, I'm the strongest dog in the world, right?
It's fucking fascinating.
Yeah, dude. If I bark at something, it goes away. That's me, right? And they get this huge ego and confidence, and it's all built on a house of cards, right? But then that dog goes on a walk, and we're passing by somebody else, and your dog barks at it, whether it's from being frustrated and excited because they don't know how to walk well on a leash, or whether it's because they are truly reactive and insecure and want to create space. But at the end of the day, everybody walks past that dog, and the dog thinks, I won. My barking led to getting more space, so I should do it again. And the time that my barking doesn't lead to getting more space, what do I do next? Well, I increase this. I go up the ladder. I'll snap this time, or I'll bite this time, right? Because barking has worked so well on creating space until we change that for the dog, until we say, hey, this isn't what we do. And that all starts in your home. That's why I'm such an advocate for in-home dog training, because it's the environment that created the problem, right? So if I can learn how to set up my dog for success in the home, it's going to make my outside walk easier. Then it's going to make going to the vet easier. It's going to make going to the park easier. But it's really hard to work backwards from that. It's really hard to fix your problem at class, then at my neighborhood, and then in my home. It should be the other way around.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you say in-home dog training, that doesn't mean I bring my dog in my living room and train every time. Sometimes I'm going to do it in the bedroom. Sometimes I'm going to do it on the deck, backyard, right?
100%. Yeah, train everywhere in your house. Because they get really good at just saying, oh, this is what dog training means. I train directly on this mat here, and I don't have to listen anywhere else.
And they don't know shit if you take them somewhere else. It's like you said, it's just, you mean you want me to do this here now?
Bingo.
Right?
Yeah, bingo. But, take that same logic and flip it. Imagine that your dog gets really good at training in your living room and then in your basement, and then you move. There should be a progression ladder that I move through, right? So I should perfect training in my house without distractions, then in my house with distractions, in my backyard without distractions, then my front yard with and without, then my neighborhood street. Everyone complains about the same problems with their dog. What are the main issues that people have? My dog pulls when I walk. My dog's reactive to things outside. My dog barks and he jumps up, right? Those are the main issues that people have. Yes, there's aggression issues. There's resource guarding issues. There's all these other problems, but 90% of people are looking for this one thing. Like, how do I fix this? But you don't fix it at the point of reaction. You don't fix it at the point of barking. You fix it by changing the way this dog views you, right? Because right now, you're just this thing that takes me outside on a walk that I don't have to pay attention to, that I don't have to look at for permission for anything, that I don't get any rewards from. So that could all be changed through training.
This is so fascinating. You talking about the whole walk situation and the loading and how successful they are, and which is why they repeat the behavior. My first dog, Princess, when I was growing up, she would lose her mind and attack the front door when the mailman, because the mailman came to our front door. But she got the mailman to go away, right? Mm-hmm. It worked.
Mm-hmm. And the dog felt that effect of it worked. Yes. And we don't understand how good it feels they become an addict to this game, right? It felt really good to get that guy away from the house. So you better be prepared to offer that same feeling by offering a different behavior, right? It's not as simple as, going back to what you mentioned earlier, Tony, about balanced training. It's not as simple as just correcting this dog and going, okay, we're done now. You better replicate that good feeling somewhere else so the dog is more inclined to offer a separate behavior.
Right.
And if you don't, you're going to run into it's a cycle that will continue to go through forever.
How do we get people to stop fucking their dogs up?
Yeah, that's a great point, right? There's a few things that go a really long way.
I'm worried about fucking my dog up.
Yeah, no, I get it. We all are, right?
And I have a general knowledge of basic training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
100%. I think sometimes that gets us even into more trouble because we create our own reality, right? We get so nervous that our dog is going to become reactive. And I see this with clients all the time, that when they take their dog out in public, it's like, dude, your dog's fine. Loosen up a little bit. Like,
right.
That's the first thing. But knowledge is power. So a few simple things that I think go a really long way. We'll start for the basic dog owner, right? So if you're a dog owner and you are like, okay, where do I start with my dog training? Remember, your food is not food. Your food is money. Okay. And you pay your dog for working for you. I would never give a dog free food if they didn't listen to me, right? And that sounds psychotic, but how else am I going to get my dog to complete expected tasks if I'm not going to pay them? And how do I pay them for something that they don't care about, right? Generally, on average, dogs are overweight because they're overfed.
Yes, they are.
So if I can restrict a little bit of their food and say, you know what, you're not going to get a meal just because it's 10 o'clock today. I'm going to take that meal, put it inside my fanny pack, and you're going to get this food because you're doing something for me. And that something could be literally looking at me. I'll feed you every piece of kibble, loading that word yes, right? That's where that yes becomes that crack word.
Yeah.
Like if I say yes to a dog and they don't turn their body, that's a problem. If I say yes and the dog has no response at all, well, we're going to go back and start here. Just loading this word yes. Yes. Give food. Yes. Give food. Because when I say yes, I expect a dog to immediately pop up. Oh yeah, this is a good thing. I'm going to get my food now.
So what if we have a dog that's not a foodie?
Every dog is a foodie.
You just have to find the right thing?
So,
or what?
So this is a great question because people ask this all the time. My dog's not food motivated or my dog's not play motivated. Every dog in the world is food and play motivated. You have to find it. And that doesn't mean how many different types of food that I go through, right? I'll stay with food and then we can go to play later. So let's say someone goes, my dog's not food motivated. Okay. What's your dog eat per day? Well, he eats this twice a day. Okay, your dog's food motivated, right? Why are you giving him food on the ground? That should all be coming from you. My dog's not food motivated. Well, he's 25 pounds overweight, right?
I know, right?
Like that's a problem. You know, a lot of it comes.
No idea.
A lot of it, yeah, believe me, yeah, I know, and it's such a.
My dog's picky.
That's a conundrum for you too, because heck, you know, I'm sitting here going, yeah, you're selling the products, and maybe it's not a bad thing if they're 25 pounds overweight, but yeah, that's a whole.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. But you know, every dog is eating every day, but we're not making them do anything for it, right? Think of a dog's life. How unnatural is that to a dog?
For
right?
sure.
Right?
Totally.
It's like, well, just make them do something for it, right? And it doesn't always have to be training, right? It could be anything. It could be scavenging.
Yeah.
Right? Anything like that is fine. Just make the dog work slightly for the food.
Yeah.
But if I can pick my dog's meals up and I use it as the reward, and then people go, I feed raw. Cool, they make gloves.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I feed fresh food. Cool, they make gloves. Like we have other alternatives.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stop giving this dog calories for free.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you start getting this food drive built in your home, it will change your life if you have a dog that's not food motivated. So you have two types of dogs that aren't food motivated. Number one is just the lazy dogs. These dogs require very little training because they make very little mistakes, right? They're just like, I don't really care. I'm not going to do it. I'm just chill, right?
I think that's Layla.
That's a great dog to have. The second dog is the insecure, nervous dog. People go, he's not food motivated because he's stressed, because that part of the brain shuts down when I get stressed. That particular dog, you would build food motivation and food drive solely in the house without distractions. And then you would go through your steps, building it to outside, building it to front yard, and then so on from there. Every dog's food motivated. Every single dog.
Okay.
Yeah. They all eat to survive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the play thing too. Play is play is important.
Like Layla likes her ball.
Yeah, it's great. You know,
I keep it up. It's only an outside toy. How do you reward with play?
So that's a great point.
Train with play.
Yeah, let's go through training with play. First off, what you just said there is the most important aspect. You keep your toys hidden. You don't want to keep them out. So every time I go to a client's house, I pick up a tennis ball. And I say, what is this? And they go, it's a tennis ball. I go, what is it really? They go, a tennis ball. Now, this is a squirrel, right? This is a prey item. We should stop calling these things toys because they're prey items. They're meant to resemble something that your animal could either chase and kill, right? Like a flirt pull, or something that I chase and bring back, or something that I literally fight with, like a tug toy. These are all prey items. They're not a dog toy. You don't want your dog stuck in that prey drive constantly because it's unhealthy for them. So you hide the toys. Right. So a couple of things that I would recommend for play is find your dog's play style, right? Every dog has a prey drive that lands on a different portion of the cycle, right? So a lot of dogs like to stalk things and then chase things. A lot of dogs like to, like almost every pitty loves tug. Yeah. Why? Because they're built for it. They want to fight. And when I say fight, guys, I don't mean fight other dogs or other people, but they want to fight prey. Like they want to bite on that prey and they want to, they want to shake it and they want to pull against it. Some dogs like to just retrieve. Like any retriever is just going to want to retrieve. So you find what your dog is into, right? Whether it's fetch, whether it's tug, whether it's personal hand-to-hand play, personal play, which is a great way to get a dog that's not comfortable playing with toys, is to, all right, play with you. Just go role play and roll on the ground and be a kid again with your dog. Have fun, right? But my rules for play are simple. When I say start, you can start. When I say stop, we are done. Right? A lot of dogs
Do you literally use those words?
I use, no. I use get it and enough. Right?
Okay.
Like get it is our game to get on, and then enough is our end word.
Okay.
But think of how powerful it would be if I could tell my dog to stop playing, right? If I can get my dog to stop playing, because we go through this game with dogs where we say, hey, get it, it's game on, right? Game time, whatever it is that you guys want to use. And the dog spikes and gets super excited and amped up, which is great. They should. When you say it's time to play, the dog should be like, okay, baby, let's go. And you play with his dog for 5-7 minutes, and you look at him and you go, enough. And the dog goes, and starts to settle down. Imagine the effects of that control with the dog's stress and nervous system. If they can do it in play, then why can't I do that same thing when the mailman comes to my house?
Right.
Hey, enough, right? Like if I say enough to my dog, I expect to see them go, oh, okay, and calm down, because we've conditioned that word that it means settle, right? Like that's a lot of people will use the word settle. We're not looking for them to sit down or place. We're just looking for them to do nothing, just relax and do nothing. And we teach this in play. And you can also teach a lot of boundaries in play. So you think about when we play with animals, we grab a ball or we grab a tug. And what do most animals do when we grab a ball or tug? They jump for it. Well, how inappropriate is that, right? It's like, if you're going to bite my hand off when I grab a tug, you have to learn that, like, what would another dog do in that scenario? They'd say, hey, cut that shit out. Like,
right.
Don't do that. So when I grab the ball or I grab the tug, there's boundaries in place. You don't go for this until I tell you it's time, right? And most of our play is not built on obedience training, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't be obedience training in play, but your play shouldn't be controlled through obedience. I should be able to say enough and the dog settles. I should be able to say no and the dog doesn't go for the toy. That doesn't mean he has to sit down or so on and so forth. A lot of times we use obedience commands to control dogs because they don't know how to make good decisions yet.
Sure.
But once they know how to make good decisions, you should limit the amount of obedience commands you give your dog. Like, I shouldn't have to tell my dog a list of obedience commands to make decisions anymore. He should be well trained enough to not do these things, right? So when a guest comes over to your house, it's common for people to say, okay, let me tell my dog to sit, or let me tell my dog to place. I'll tell my dog to do some command so they don't jump up, which is great until you don't want to do that anymore, until the dog should learn that jumping up is not the correct solution.
Right.
Figure out the other one on your own. You've been trained enough at this point to make better decisions, and you should. I shouldn't have to micromanage my animal, my dog, for the rest of my life, right? Micromanaging comes back to a lot of things in dog training. Is we tend to manage a lot in dog training early on. And that is my biggest gripe without adding in the word no, is that you could potentially be stuck in management, which happens all the time, forever, right? So if I don't want to manage my dog's behavior forever.
Okay, so we kind of talked about the yes. I was surprised to hear that you do use the word no. So tell me your philosophy behind that, because I had been trained years past that you don't use the word no because it's not really a command, and your dog really is not going to understand the word no. So tell me the flip side of that.
Yeah, the first thing I want people to understand is we're talking about a dog that can smell cancer, but we're saying that they can't understand and be conditioned to the word no, right? It's like, come on, let's give them a little bit more credit, right? If I can condition yes, so how do I condition yes? I say yes, I grab food and I give food. And the biggest mistake that you watch, even sometimes I watch my trainers on video or myself on video, the timing of that should be perfect, right? It should be, I say my word yes, I delay a half a second, I grab food out of my fanny pack, and then I give it to my dog. Right? Dogs are extremely visual creatures. So if you say yes and you're grabbing your food at the same time, the dog didn't hear anything you said. They only saw your hand move, right? So yes did not predict food was coming, okay? And we take that same logic and we apply it to the word no. So if I say no, in order for that word no to be conditioned to something not good, I would have to add something my dog would find aversive behind it, right? Now, what could I add behind it? There's a million different ways that people correct dogs. I don't think there's one way that's better than the other. I think everything is dependent upon the dog and the person that is the owner of that dog. But it could be as simple as like literally a squirt bottle, right? Just you say no, you squirt the dog, and the dog goes, wow, no sucks, right? Like the next time I hear no, I'm not going to offer that behavior. My biggest gripe with the word no is that we didn't teach the dog expected behaviors before we implemented the word no. So I don't want to say no to a dog that doesn't understand another option. That's not fair, right? Like does that make sense? So if I haven't taught my dog what else to do and I say no and correct them, you're leaving it up to the dog to figure out the right answer on his own. But if they don't have a habit of winning at something else, sometimes that gets hard for a dog to figure out. You got to play with that with the particular dog that you're working with and say, okay, when do I start adding in corrections to this dog's life? I add it when I think the dog knows what he should be doing. And when he offers something different, that's when I would start to add in a correction. A correction is not going to ruin the relationship between the human and the dog. Mm-hmm. And it's not made to physically hurt the dog.
Right.
It's made so that it's psychologically aversive to the dog. And we do things that are psychologically aversive to our dogs all the time, whether we know it or we don't know it. We bend over to tie our shoe and the dog goes, oh shit, why is he leaning into my space, right? And there's a million different examples, but I want to find something that the dog goes, ooh, I didn't like that, right? I don't want that to happen again. But it happens after the word no is said. I'm not a huge fan of invisible fence, but think of the same idea behind the invisible fence. It beeps. The dog gets a stimulation after it beeps. If they don't comply, the next time it beeps, the dog goes, okay, I don't want to go there. Now, do I think that a remote collar is a great tool? An e-collar is a great tool? I personally love remote collars. Mm-hmm. I hate how fast people go to them, mm-hmm. right? It's like, your dog's not ready for this. They don't know, like, how's their obedience commands in the house without distractions? D, what are we talking about, mm-hmm. right? So, to me, the word no is vital and it's life-saving, the same that it is for a child, for a human, for, whoever. But they better understand what they should be doing before you implement that word no.
Okay, so let's do a scenario.
Yes.
My dog barks incessantly at any dog that walks past the house. I have tried to divert with food because he's highly food motivated. Mm-hmm. At what point would I use a squirt bottle and the word no?
So this is a great question. All right, I'm going to go through this on a few different angles so everybody gets their own, for their dog, a different opinion. The first thing that I would tell you is sometimes dogs are smart enough to pick up on what's called a sequence of events. If I bark at the window, my human's going to give me food at some point.
Yeah.
Right? Or if I nip my human, they'll go grab my toy.
Yeah.
That's a really dangerous game to play because now you've reinforced that. And if it happens once, the dog's now learned a new habit, just like that. I'm not a huge fan of adding food once the dog is barking out the window. So the two scenarios that I would use is either A, use obedience first to overcome this problem, allow your dog to go up to the window, tell them to go to their place bed or recall the dog with no distractions and pay them, right? Do that 100 times. And then you start to add in distractions that you can control. And this doesn't take long, by the way. This takes a very short period of time. Take a distraction you can control. Take your kid and have them run outside and play ball. Your dog's looking out the window, tail wagging, elevated stress levels just slightly. And you go, Vinny, come. And they blow you off. They go, no way. Right? Well, guess what? Now this is where I would implement a correction. My dog's learned come, knows come. And the correction could be just a simple tug on a flat collar. Right? And the dog goes, oh yeah. And they run back to you, yes, pay, and do it again. Right? And then I continue to elevate that distraction. With a dog, I would always be more inclined to use distractions my dog likes before dislikes. Friends, family, neighbors, whoever, toys and food. Those are going to be the biggest distractions that my dog really cares about. If I can't call my dog off a window with those as the distraction, what makes me believe I'm going to be able to do it with another dog walking by? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So now let's go back to, okay, we set this up. The dog's killing it with all these triggers that I set up. And now we have a real life scenario. Now we have somebody walking down the street my dog is barking. If this is a problem in my life, I better be prepared, and I already have a leash on my dog. Right? So I have this 10-foot line on my dog. My dog starts to bark out the window. My first option would just be go, Benny, come. And my dog blows me off. And my dog gets corrected and goes, oh crap, I know this game. I run back. Now, going back to the sequence of events, the more degrees of separation that you add, the better. So if I call my dog, good. Down, good. Place, yes, pay. If I add in more, the dog's not going to be able to connect the dots to the end. Some dogs, yes, but almost all dogs, no. The next time my dog goes up to the window to start to bark, come, the dog comes back, I can put him on place. That's one option. That's a really good option, and it's a great option to start with because it makes us feel very fair, right? The dog has a clear chance of winning. The dog has a clear chance of losing and understands the consequences if I do lose, but I don't attach that strictly to other dogs. It's for everything, right? Now, let's go back to a different game. What game have I been practicing with this dog for 2 weeks? Playing enough, right? Get it and enough. Why can't I use that same concept with barking? So I teach my dog to play in the house. I teach my dog enough. Stress levels are high and elevated, and now you have to calm down, right? And I do that all over the house, but specifically the areas that I live in with my dog, right? I don't do much training in my dining room because I'm never there, right? Very infrequently do I train in my dining room. But we're going to do a lot of this play right here because this is our biggest area. And it's always by the window, right? It's always the number one problem area. So now my dog understands enough, right? And let's say I say enough and my dog tries to jump up for the toy. Light little tug with the leash. Enough. Right? Eventually the dog goes and settles down. Why can't I do that with the mailman? I say enough. Now, granted, we're talking about very high elevated stress levels. So I've better been preparing my dog, getting them as close to that state of mind as possible in my training sessions so that I have a better chance to win when somebody's walking by or a mailman comes up. My dog starts to bark, and I do this with my personal dogs. My dogs bark at somebody. Small tangent, guys. Dogs bark.
Yeah.
If you expect your dog to never make noise, that is very unfair. But I do believe we need to put a limitation on what barking is allowed. My dog starts to bark reactively in the house. Enough. You don't listen? Perfect. Now you get corrected.
Yeah.
Now I walk over and remember, the correction it's not a baseball bat. Right? It's a light tug and the dog goes, oh crap. Right? That's not good. And then immediately after I say enough and my dog settles down, go to your bed. They go to your bed? Yes. Pay your dog. Right? First, correct the unwanted behavior or stop. That doesn't always mean correct. First, stop the unwanted behavior in that sequence, offer the new answer, and pay them for it. Right? That is a really good option as well. So that's how I would typically handle barking at the beginning.
Gotcha.
You'd be surprised how effective the word no or enough, once conditioned, work even in an elevated stress. They work really well if you do it right and if you build your dog properly. It's not one day go in and pop, right? That's what we used to do.
Yep.
Right. 12 years ago. You want to do it the right way.
Okay.
Yeah. It's unique. And I'm very thankful, by the way, that you allow me to explain this process here because I know this is not typical of like a lot of dog trainers in the area don't use the word no. And they don't use corrections. And I will get blasted for it. And I'm okay with it because the dog will show me exactly, like you can watch the dog in front of you. And I film enough of my training sessions that I'm pretty transparent about what I do with dogs and what I've done with dogs and where we're going with dogs. So I appreciate the opportunity.
This is so fascinating. I think I can get Bo to stop incessantly barking at people going past.
Yeah.
That's my goal with Bo.
Is that the Great Dane?
No, that's the 16-year-old cattle dog.
Dude, they're incredible. So can we talk two more things real quick?
Yeah.
Dogs that bark at the window are very inclined to bark on a walk, right?
Yeah.
My bark on a walk. They also bark in a car.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also bark because my brain has been conditioned that barking creates space in all of these scenarios, which is why it's really, really important to stop young dogs from watching TV out the window.
Yeah.
It is such a nasty habit that promotes barking. And it's like, dude, just stop letting your dog sit on the back of the couch like a cat, and you will have extreme benefits from that, you know?
So you never let your dog watch out the window?
I think the lack of boundaries that we have with our dog is it's shown in our day-to-day life, right? Do I let my dogs look out the window? Yes, I let my dogs look out the window. Do I when they are misbehaving? No. Like even here's an interesting story with my personal dogs. We had a family member's dog stay at our house who I did not train, right? And listen, I love training dogs, but this dog staying with me for a week while the family member's on vacation, I'm not training the dog.
Right.
Like when I come home after 10 hours of training, the last thing I want to do is I'll train my dogs. I love training my dogs. But that backfired because this dog barks out the window. And dogs are a unit. When one dog starts to misbehave, you're going to notice this trend of other dogs. So I'm like, oh my God, my dogs are barking out the window, right? So now I have to go back and retrain my own dogs to stop barking out the window.
I'm worried about Layla picking up Bo's bad behaviors.
It happens all the time,
and,
right? Even dog trainers' dogs make mistakes. Sure. And you got to be very transparent. Everybody online that shows you a 60-second clip of their dog training is a 60-second clip. The only thing I care about is how the owner feels about their dog throughout the entire day. Like if I have no stress with this dog, perfect. Right. And I know that you don't want the same dog that I have and vice versa. Last year I had 10 different dog trainers stay at my house for the dog derby. Oh my God, which we completely forgot to talk about. Bless your heart. Yeah. So we had 10 different dogs at our my house for the dog derby, or different dog trainers. And I took it very, it was one of my best compliments of all time is everyone goes, dude, you walk the walk. Right? Like you don't just go out tell your clients to do this or that.
Yeah.
As much as I love agility training and all the different sports, it's not for me. Like I just love dogs. I love being with dogs. I'm probably never going to compete with one of my dogs. As fun as it looks to me, it's not where I'm passionate at. But when a dog trainer comes in and say, hey, these are one of the most well-behaved dogs I've ever seen, like that to me makes me feel like the best compliment I could have ever gotten at that time. Everything I tell my clients, we do with our personal dogs. I do every day with my personal dogs.
So I think I can say the same thing. I walk the walk. And I even say that to some of my customers because everything I counsel them on food-wise is what I do, not only with my dogs, but myself. But that's a whole other topic too.
It's rare.
Well, tell me about the dog derby. Okay. What did I get myself into?
The dog derby, I think you're going to be head over heels with the dog derby. So I'll explain everything that it is. So one is there's a vendor market, right? There's all these vendors, and we're very, very thankful that Healthy Pet Products is a large sponsor of the dog derby. I appreciate that a lot.
Of course.
I will never forget that for the rest of my life. So thank you. It does mean a lot. So this benefits our nonprofit, the Say It Once Rescue League, that provides training for different rescues throughout the city. Like in Pittsburgh, we work a lot with Paws Across Pittsburgh. We work with Bark About It Rescue. We work with Tiny Cause and a few other rescues as well. So this all of the money generated from this goes to training to help these dogs.
Awesome.
Right? So that's a beautiful thing. But the dog derby itself is a 5K obstacle course for humans and their dogs to do together, right? So there's jumps over, there's tunnels to go underneath, there's water obstacles, there's all these different types of obstacles. Now, when I say 5K, that doesn't mean race, right? You can walk it. It's on ski slopes at Boyce Park, and it is awesome, dude. Like, so we limit it to 20 dogs a heat. So you don't have to worry about going. Like last year, we had 300 dogs participate, 297 dogs participate, but we split them in in groups of 20. So you can take as much time on this obstacle that you need, right? Like there's hay bales to jump over, tires to run in between, like you're in the NFL. And there's a lot of cool things to do. And we have a couple different heats that are specific to breeds. So we have a doodle heat, obviously.
Oh, good
right?
Lord.
We have golden retriever heat. We have Bernese mountain dog heat. And then there's just random heats for everybody and their mother to join.
Okay.
It's awesome. After you do the 5K, whether you want to complete the whole thing or not with your dog doesn't really matter. You go grab beer, you grab food trucks.
So is this something I should bring my 6-month-old Great Dane to?
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now. Well, the vendors have the chance to bring a crate and kennel their dog in the kennel room at the lodge. So 100% you could always do that.
Okay.
Right. But yes, I just wouldn't run him that long. Right. It's a long run.
Oh, for sure. 5K, no way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all on grass, which is nice, but that's
still.
And it's all
I need her condition to get up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a lot of people walk their dog through it, and they just take their dog and they take videos of their dogs going through the obstacles. Right. It's a huge area. So you'll be at the bottom, like all the vendors are at the bottom of this. They're looking up this ski slope, and you can see all 5 hills of the ski slopes where there are obstacles for the dogs. But we get, like last year we had almost 1,000 attendees, not runners, but we had 1,000 attendees come. And it was cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really, really fun because a lot of people just come and go, I'm not running this 5K, but I'm going to come hang out, enjoy. You know, we have a lot of clients. So a lot of clients just stop up, grab some food, buy some merch, buy some healthy pet products, Pittsburgh products.
Yep.
I saw the Iron City beer.
Did you?
That looked good. Yeah, 100%. By the way, I met Megan yesterday. Shout out to Megan. She's so nice, but she kept cursing at little kids. You know what I mean? So I think about getting her out of there, you know? No, she was so nice, dude. Such a nice person. But yeah, that is the dog derby in a nutshell. It's just a big event for dogs and people to enjoy, forget about life for 5 hours and have some fun.
Is there a fee to enter?
So there's no fee to come.
Okay.
There's a fee if you want to participate.
Okay.
And you can use all caps, say it once, 10 for a discount code. You know what? You can use a discount code, HealthyPets25. And you'll get a $25 discount code. Healthy Pets will be all capital letters, and I'll make that as soon as we get off here.
Okay. Sid, you got that? Healthy Pets 25.
Heck yeah, dude.
And I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So there's a lot of different Pittsburgh-based vendors that are coming, like 412, Steel City brand is coming out. I think their 10 is actually next year 10. You have a good spot.
Good.
Yeah, you have a really good spot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
So what time does it start?
It starts at 8:30 a.m. So the first heat is at 8:30, 8:40 a.m. The first heat's French Bulldogs.
Oh my gosh.
I think we have 18 little toads lined up. So that'll be good. I wanted to get them out of the way so they don't have to run in the heat.
Yes, good. Yes.
Yeah. But there are, like I said, there's water obstacles and there's water scattered throughout. So if you get hot, you need a drink. There's like 16 different areas for water.
Okay.
EMS is there. So if anybody's feeling a little hot.
Yeah.
Or so you're going to be safe there.
Well, let's hope it's not a super hot day.
Yeah. We've gotten lucky 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the third.
This is our third annual dog derby. Yeah.
Okay.
The last year had about 300 runners, 290 something, 97, and almost 1,000 just human beings there. We're hoping to pass that this year. We're on good pace. We have 145 dogs signed up already. So.
And do you have a goal of how much you want to raise?
So we want to raise $35,000. I have no doubt in my mind we're going to get there, especially with your help. We are already at 26 or 7,000 raised.
Great.
And we haven't even done like merch sales, anything like that, because we attribute everything from that there. So pretty stoked. It's going to sustain the Rescue League for 6 to 8 months by itself. Mm-hmm. So the Rescue League, like I said, does train dogs, but it trains dogs in different cities too, not just in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. But like say somebody from Paws Across Pittsburgh, somebody on the board reaches out, hey, we have a dog. We need to get them trained ASAP. They're a problem. We would send one of our trainers or a trainer out there to go see them, work with them right away, and get it all straightened out and taken care of.
Hey, so Vinny and I were so enthralled in our conversation that went on for like over 2 hours that we forgot to record an outro and say goodbye to you all. So here it is, just from me. Vinny and I are so excited to talk about the Derby, and we just had a great episode, and I know he'll be on again. But you got to check out the Derby, sayitonce.com, and that is August 25th at Boyce Park. Have a good one.